où en est exactement l'e-santé aujourd'hui en Europe? Merci beaucoup.
We're at a point in time where we're hopefully the pandemic, the COVID-19 crisis is behind us. Of course, there's another political crisis occurring, the war in Ukraine. But we've also recently launched all the programs related to the multi-annual financial framework, Horizon Europe, the digital program, eHealth. So we're now looking as much as we can to really build on the momentum that we got in the crisis with regard to digital tools and the pandemic and the usefulness of the digital tools, such as the digital contact tracing apps and the digital COVID certificate, to really now promote digital solutions, particularly in health. And of course, one of our key interests as ever is to do this in a way that really ensures security. And I would not say, for example, that with new political crisis comes a greater sense of security, because the issue of what we're doing in health is that security is already very much embedded in the work that we're doing with health data sharing. So we know that health data is highly sensitive. We've seen that healthcare systems, or individual hospitals are cyber targets. This was already the case even before Ukraine. A recent attack happened, for example, in Ireland in May 2021 that was very severe. So as far as health and health data is concerned, the need for security is already as high as it can be. And so we're really about finding ways through our programs, through the work that we're doing, to really find this balance between health data sharing through the use of technologies of various kinds, such as we see under Horizon investments in, for example, different kinds of data, looking at synthetic data, aggregated data, research into different kinds of infrastructures, and then investments in the digital program actually on these infrastructures, the federated infrastructures that we plan, for example, for genomic data and for cancer imaging data, and all the other deployment investments we plan under digital, such as relate to interoperability, boosting interoperability in Europe, ahead to new technologies like digital twins. How can we support this in Europe? Cybersecurity. And it's not an easy question for society to deal with, because on one hand, health data is very sensitive and vulnerable, so it needs strong protections. But on the other, of course, there is this immense value in sharing it. And we know that people have different levels of risk with regard to sharing it. We've seen, for example, from surveys that people who are suffering from rare conditions or with long-term chronic conditions where there's a lack of effective therapies, these people have much more open attitudes with regard to sharing their data. And of course, quite simply, we will need the data if we really want to capture the promise of artificial intelligence and cloud technology and supercomputers to bring about the next generation of health innovation. So we have all these investments happening in digital technologies for health, and at the same time, we're also working on this emerging legislative framework, both in the form of, for example, the number of data acts arising from the EU data strategy and the forthcoming European health data space. And one of our targets is we talk very much about ecosystems in our actions. So much of what we're trying to do is about supporting the different ecosystems for different topics, for different themes in digital health, because it's such a growing area. So in many areas, the ecosystems are quite underdeveloped, I would say. And, as regards, for example, the issue of European champions, then I would suppose that European champions have the best chance to emerge from strong European ecosystems. So this was already a goal back in the 2018 communication that we published on the digital transformation of health and care, that we really wanted to support a competitive and thriving European health tech industry by improving the data that's available to them to test, for example, they're AI-based innovations that are coming on. And this is, for example, why we're investing through the digital program in what we're calling testing and experimentation facilities, which we see, for example, as being big resources, a few big resources that innovators can use, that can come to, that will provide them with the data that they need, alongside other things they need to really test their product before placing it on the market. And typically this is data also combined with artificial intelligence and also real-world conditions.